Up. So yet again it's well below freezing outside. I think about -12 today, would you believe? And the roads up here high on the sides of the Aire Valley are covered with thick, rutted, treacherous ice, about as lethal as it gets for riding a bike, so I remain grounded for now, though it is forecast to warm up from tomorrow. Thank God for that. Now, as you know, I love modern classic motorcycles. After all, I have 3 of them: my Moto Guzzi V7, BSA Goldstar 650 and Royal Enfield Classic 350. I've also previously owned the Interceptor, Scram and Super Meteor from the RE stable, and the Rocket 3 Touring from Triumph, and the XJR 1300 from Yamaha a few years ago. All of these arguably modern classics one way or another. And I've also been lucky enough to review the entire Royal Enfield range, courtesy of Appleyard's Motorcycles in Keighley. Thank you as always, Appleyards. So I thought I'd take a look at the bloodlines of 3 of the most distinctive modern classic brands available today in the United Kingdom. Now, for the purposes of today's content, I'll not be covering Triumph for 2 reasons. First, they are so dominant, so preeminent in the UK modern classic market that they deserve their own analysis. Their Bonnevilles platform, in its many iterations, remains almost ubiquitous in the modern classic market, notwithstanding Royal Enfield constantly snapping at their heels. And second, well, we'll come on to that, something rather disappointing, I'm afraid, so stay tuned. Right, so let's have a look at the fascinating and often surprising individual histories of Royal Enfield, BSA and Norton. Yep, I've never reviewed or even ridden a Norton, but watch this space, there's an offer in the air, and I'll update you as soon as I possibly can. Fingers firmly crossed. Alright, quickly before we start, can I remind you that the 22% off all of the fantastic Aiuchi TFT systems is still available through the link in the description below on this channel and the pinned comment. Using code TBW22, TBW22. Now, I've been using 3 of these units on my bikes for some time, and although I'm no lover of Toen Tech, I firmly believe that these units have real-world value for the motorcyclists. They offer both Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which means that all of your supported phone apps work on the crystal clear full-colour high-definition screens, giving you the ability to make and receive calls via your helmet headset and receive and send text, listen to music and podcasts, and perhaps most usefully, display and make use of your preferred GPS app. You also get high-definition video recording front and rear with playback, and I find that incredibly useful because you can clearly see what's behind you on the bike if you're backing out of an awkward space. And of course, having high-quality video recording automatically and constantly while you're riding the bike is an excellent safety feature. They also come with tyre pressure monitoring, which display warnings for low and high temperatures and pressures, and GPS data, and all of this in a weather-sealed case, which is easy to hook up to your bike's electrics. And the best part is that these come in at less than a third the cost of some other brands if you purchase through the links on this channel. So yeah, follow the affiliate link in the descriptions below or the pinned comment and use code TBW22. Get yourself 22%. That's nearly a quarter. 22% off. Right, let's start with BSA. So BSA, the Birmingham Small Arms Company, was founded in 1861 in Birmingham, good old Blighty, originally producing firearms and other metalwork. It wasn't until 1910 that BSA entered the motorcycle market, driven largely by a growing demand for efficient personal transportation. And their first motorcycle, the BSA 3.5 horsepower, was well received, showcasing as it did the company's ability to transfer precision engineering skills from weaponry to motorbikes. And by the 1930s, BSA had established itself as a major player in the industry, offering a range of motorcycles suited for various purposes, from commuter bikes to performance models and just about everything in between. That period after World War II was pretty much the golden age of BSA. The company became then the largest motorcycle producer in the world, and it exported its bikes to over 100 countries. And models such as the Gold Star, which even then was a high-performance single-cylinder bike, became legends, earning accolades in racing and setting benchmarks for build quality and speed. And the Gold Star's presence in motorsports, including the TT, basically established BSA's reputation among a lot of enthusiasts. And in addition to performance bikes, BSA also catered to the growing demand for affordable transportation with its models like the Bantam, which was a lightweight bike ideal for beginners. And its reliability and ease of maintenance probably what made it a popular choice, especially in post-war Britain. Yes, I said it, reliability. Now, in spite of all this success, they struggled to adapt to the changing market dynamics in the 60s. And as we all know, the rise of Japanese motorcycle manufacturers such as Honda, Yamaha, Suzuki, Kawasaki, they introduced more affordable and, yes, it has to be said, reliable and more advanced bikes, which started to corrode BSA's market share. And the company also faced some internal management issues and challenges in keeping up with innovation, particularly in engine design and production efficiency. So basically they got lazy and complacent and overly comfortable. That'd be my view anyway. So by the early 70s, all of them problems accumulated in certain financial difficulties. So in 1973, BSA was absorbed into Norton Villiers Triumph, which effectively marked the end of the brand. Now, fast forward, and although the original BSA ceased production a long time ago, collectors and enthusiasts continue to celebrate the brand and collect the old BSA classics. But, of course, in 2021, the Mahindra Group, with its subsidiary Classic Legends, announced that it was going to relaunch BSA motorcycles, and here we are with the BSA Gold Star 650. So yeah, quite a provenance there, quite a legacy, quite a history, and of course I'm absolutely delighted to own and run a bike which bears tribute to some of that legacy and history. Cracking bike, BSA Gold Star 650 in the 21st century. Love it. So Royal Enfield then. Well, Royal Enfield's story began in 1893 in Redditch, again in good old Blighty. And the company was established as the Enfield Cycle Company, initially producing bicycles, and the brand adopted the slogan "Made like a gun," which persists to today. And that reflected the precision and the durability of their engineering. In 1901, Royal Enfield manufactured its first motorcycle, and that featured a small engine mounted on a bicycle frame, and that marked the start of a journey that would lead to where we are today: global recognition and popularity. By the sort of mid-20th century, Royal Enfield had gained a reputation for ruggedness and reliability, and that made them popular with the military. And during World War II, the company produced motorcycles such as the WD-RE, nicknamed the Flying Flea, which was used by paratroopers and could be dropped into battlefields by parachute. And of course we see that name now reincarnated in Royal Enfield's proposal for its first electric bike. So the post-war period saw the introduction of Royal Enfield's most famous models, including their famous and much loved Bullet, and that was first launched in 1948. Of course, it had that iconic single-cylinder engine and that cracking thumping exhaust note, and an absolutely timeless classic design. And so the Bullet basically became synonymous with Royal Enfield, and remains in production today, of course, with the Bullet 350, and hey, fingers crossed for a Bullet 500 or a Bullet 650, let's see. In 1955 it was Royal Enfield began collaborating with Madras Motors to build bikes basically in India. Over time, Royal Enfield motorcycles became deeply ingrained in Indian culture, again favoured for rugged performance on their, shall we say, diverse terrain, and their ability to handle India's somewhat challenging roads. So when the British company ceased production, and that was in 1971, the Indian operations continued under Eicher Motors, which acquired the brand in 1994. And it was Eicher that brought about a resurgence for the Royal Enfield brand, transforming it from a regional one to a global one, basically. So, as we know, Royal Enfield's revival in the 21st century has been marked by what you might call a perfect balance of heritage and innovation. The Classic 350 and the Interceptor 650 are basically totemic examples of the brand's vintage aesthetics, but of course incorporate modern engineering. Now, the company's expansion to international markets, including Europe and the US, has made Enfield a beloved name amongst riders, not least me. And I think it's fair to say Royal Enfield has also embraced the spirit of adventure with its Himalayan and Scram models, which are sort of retro-inspired off-road exploration motorcycles. So, Royal Enfield really, they're more than just machines, aren't they? They're a lifestyle with a connection to a motorcycle legacy. The designs, to my mind, are timeless, and it's not hard to see that global appeal that the bikes have, and how they've become very, very individually in terms of their personality. Now, last but not least, Norton motorcycles. So Norton, initially a manufacturer of bicycle components, and they began producing motorcycles in 1902 using engines from other companies. And by 1908 the brand had developed its own engines, solidifying its reputation for engineering expertise. And early models like the Norton 16H and the Big Four gained recognition for their reliability and became staples really for both civilian riders and for the British military, particularly during the two world wars. But one of Norton's defining features really has been its success in racing. The brand dominated motorcycle competitions for decades, including the prestigious Isle of Man TT, where it earned countless victories. In the 30s, Norton's innovative Manx models equipped with advanced single-cylinder engines and featherbed frames became legendary in the world of motorsport. And the phrase "win on Sunday, sell on Monday" aptly described Norton's ability to translate racing success into commercial appeal. The post-war era saw Norton continue its dominance on the track, and riders like Jeff Duke brought the brand international acclaim, and the Manx Norton became a favourite amongst private racers. The Norton Commando, introduced in the 60s, also achieved significant acclaim, combining high performance with stylish design, and became again a bit of a cultural icon. But like many British motorcycle manufacturers, Norton faced increasing competition from those Japanese brands in the 70s. And those competitors offered more affordable and, let's face it, technologically advanced bikes, and eventually Norton's market share declined. And again, financial difficulties and a change in market demand added to the company's struggles, resulting in multiple ownership changes and a period of complete stasis. Now, in spite of the challenges, Norton's experienced several revivals over the years under new ownership, and sought to preserve its heritage while adapting to modern trends. A tall order, it might be said. And models like the Norton Commando 961 and the V4 SS have showcased the company's commitment to combining classic styling with cutting-edge performance. But of course, we know that under the ownership, shall we say, of a certain individual, the misfortunes of Norton brought about its further demise and decline. So in 2020, Norton underwent another transformation when TVS of India acquired the company. And that acquisition reinvigorated the brand, as we now know, with plans for new models and with new manufacturing processes based here in the UK. And so it is that we now have the two Norton Commando models, the CAF Racer and the SP, and I'm firmly crossing my fingers that I'm going to get an opportunity, possibly, maybe, please God, before too long, to test ride a Norton Commando SP. So on to the second reason why I haven't really referred to Triumph's Bonneville range here, and that's because I've never had the opportunity to ride one or review one. Now, it's not for want of asking. I've sent endless emails to the Triumph press office and to local Triumph dealerships, begging virtually for an opportunity to be able to review one of the Bonneville range, but constantly falls on deaf ears, not so much as a reply. So, if anybody from Triumph, or anybody with any influence whatsoever at Triumph or at a Triumph dealership, can possibly make it so that I can take a Triumph Bonneville of some description out for a review to feature in a video, then please get in touch at thebingleywheeler@gmail.com, thebingleywheeler@gmail.com, all one word. I've nothing against Triumphs, I've had a couple myself, but I've never ridden a Bonneville, and I really would like to. So on that note, I will bid you farewell. I hope that this was of some interest to you. If it was, please click a like, please would you subscribe, and until the next time, and in the meantime, ride safe, be kind, and I'll see thee.